back to Barnstable This Morning, just about 8 minutes past the top of the hour on this Tuesday morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone to welcome our Chief of Police, Paul MacDonald. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, Chief, wanted to talk about a recent drug arrest. Tell me a little bit about this particular search warrant that was executed out of town.
Last week on the 15th, we executed two search warrants, one in Wareham and one in Pocasset. This is part of an ongoing drug investigation which started last year. It started with the first search warrant being executed on David Landry in Sandwich on September 12th. He's currently being held on $150,000 cash bail. But once we executed that search warrants, and then we got additional information, we found out that he was the ringleader of a major drug investigation. Since that search warrant, we have then executed 4 additional search warrants, all regarding him and several other individuals. And then last week we executed one, and we recovered 2 kilos of crystal methamphetamine. That's quite an amount of drugs, especially here down the Cape. And I've been here 34 years. That's the most I've ever known that has been recovered. And that's a narcotic that we rarely see here on Cape. It has a wholesale value of approximately $40,000 and a street value of over $200,000. And that 2 kilos equates out to 2,200 grams. So that could have done some serious damage here in the Cape.
Wow, that really is a significant amount of drugs. And you're right, Chief, we really don't hear a lot about crystal meth here on the Cape. Were there concerns about that? Obviously, there were concerns about that coming into our town. Have we heard any reports or any incidents regarding the trade of crystal meth here in Barnstable, aside from this giant bust?
Well, if you remember last summer, there was a small quantity of crystal meth down on Main Street. It actually was being distributed among some homeless individuals. We then initiated an investigation, and we discovered that crystal meth lab down in Falmouth, and we executed a search warrant down there with Falmouth PD, and we recovered an amount of crystal meth, but we actually found where they were manufacturing. And of course, crystal meth is a manufactured narcotic and extremely dangerous. This was the finished product, the byproduct. It was all packaged and it was all ready to go. But this is a narcotic that we have not seen too much up in the Northeast. It's very popular out in the Midwest and out in the West, but it is extremely addictive. This is one of those drugs. We're concerned about heroin and cocaine and the other opiates, but crystal meth is extremely addictive.
Indeed, and as are all the other drugs, extremely damaging. From what I've read about crystal meth, as you said, number one, very, very addictive, and number two, it's extremely damaging to a person's body and health. So, we talk about the bust of the lab in Falmouth. Any idea as to where this large quantity of crystal meth came from, Chief?
We don't. We do not think that this batch was associated with what we did in Falmouth, because the quantity of it, that lab that we took down in Falmouth, did not have the ability to produce this amount. We're assuming that was probably brought in or trucked in or shipped in somewhere from the Midwest. So but it's gone. It's off the street. Of course, we are trying to get additional information. Once we execute the search warrants, we're looking for anything and everything that pertains to distribution of narcotics. So we're looking for all the paperwork. That's how a lot of these cases began. We first did that case with Landry. That one search warrant mushroomed into a total of 5 different search warrants, and we're looking at perhaps doing 2 more search warrants before this case is finally wrapped up. And again, a lot of the evidence we get is once we execute those search warrants. So we're still working on it.
Indeed. So what kind of charges come along with this particular bust, Chief, in finding such a large amount of crystal meth?
Right now, he's being held on $50,000 cash bail, and he's being held on trafficking of a Class A substance, and that could carry up to 20 years, depending on what his record is and how many other times he has been arrested. There was no firearms involved. There was no violence involved. So he could be possibly facing up to 20 years in prison.
Wow.
But that's depending on his record.
Absolutely. So we'll thank you for that update, Chief. Anything else in terms of police action here over the past week? I know kind of cold weather, slippery road conditions, but as we've talked about in the past, the cold weather really kind of keeps the criminals inside.
It does. The cold weather does keep, probably one of the great criminal deterrents that we have is cold weather. However, the icy conditions, the road conditions, particularly in the mornings, there was a couple of mornings in the last couple of weeks where we've had up to 12 accidents. Relatively minor in nature, but you can't see the black ice on the roadways. The rain from the day before or the dew is still on the roads. Freezes overnight because of black ice, and people are sliding all over the place. during the winter time, people just have to adjust their driving habits. Drive a little bit slowly, drive a little bit carefully, and everybody will get through this. But unfortunately, we're all late for work and we're all in a hurry. I almost missed a phone call today.
Chief, in terms of the heroin issue, obviously, we're hearing in neighboring Yarmouth the numbers of overdoses continue. Are we still seeing relatively large amounts of overdoses here in town? How's that been over the last couple of weeks?
This is the 20th of January. As of the 20th of January, we've had 13 confirmed drug overdoses with 1 fatality. So, yes, it is still continuing on. If you equate that out for a full year, it goes out to approximately 130 drug overdoses. Last year, we had 81. So, hopefully we'll start seeing it subside with their enforcement action. There's the education, there's the treatment, there's the prevention, there's the interdiction. Our job, law enforcement, the courts, our responsibility is the interdiction of the narcotics and get it off the street and stop the poison from coming into our town.
Absolutely. Well, Chief, I thank you so much as always for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning, and we will talk with you again next week. Have a great day.
Great. You too. Bye-bye.
Chief of Police Paul MacDonald joining us as he does each and every Tuesday morning here on Barnstable This Morning. And again, if you have a question for the Chief, if you have a topic you would like us to explore with our Chief of Police, a very knowledgeable individual, you can always feel free to email us at btm@town.barnstable.ma.us, or you can connect with us through our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com and look for Barnstable This Morning.